Imagine with me for a second that you have just lost a loved one. Think with me of some of the traditions and rituals that we have come to expect after a loss. People usually gather for a visitation and a funeral. They send flowers, say prayers, give eulogies, sing songs, and share food. All of these traditions surrounding loss help us grieve, help us find meaning, and assist at bringing closure. Most importantly, these rituals help bring together community and family, ensuring that we are not left alone in our grief. Now imagine our previous situation again, only this time there are no rituals or ceremonies to accompany your loss. You receive no validation and little community or religious support, nor are you given the right to express your thoughts or emotions about your loss. Would you be able to find closure? Could you ever fully resolve your grief? You would be experiencing disenfranchised grief, the kind of a grief often associated with caring for someone with dementia. Disenfranchised grief is a concept discussed by Pauline Boss in her book, Loving Someone Who Has Dementia. It describes a grief that is not acknowledged by society. This grief may go unnoticed or be misunderstood. Because society doesn't recognize the loss and is not legitimized by others, strong social supports may be lacking, and it can be a very isolating and lonely experience. Loss is one of the most common experiences that brings about grieving. The Alzheimer's Society recognizes that these are a great many losses associated with dementia for both the person with the dementia and their care partners. The person living with dementia experiences loss and grief over their diagnosis and throughout the progression of the disease, through anticipated changes in abilities and change in independence. And in some instances, people feel as though the disease is taking away their ability to do the things that they felt once defined them. Caregivers, family members, and friends of the person with dementia also experience loss. The loss of a partner, shared roles and responsibilities, expected plans for the future, and a loss of shared memories. The person with dementia may do things that they never would have done, say things that they never would have said, and treat people in ways that they never would have treated them. Another kind of loss experienced by caregivers of people with dementia is ambiguous loss. Pauline Boss also suggests that ambiguous loss is felt when a person is physically here but may not be mentally or emotionally present in the same way as before. In a similar way to disenfranchised grief, rarely do people offer support or validate the loss as they would after someone died. This is a loss that is unclear. It has no resolution or closure. Grieving is a natural, normal, and healing response to loss. However, ambiguity and uncertainty can impede the grieving process. Relationships become confused. You still love them, but you miss the person that they were. These mixed feelings are normal. Dementia can be a roller coaster of both absence and presence, which can further complicate things. Boss recommends practicing both and thinking rather than an either or thinking, or perhaps better understood as balancing two ideas in the same time. The person with dementia is both here and gone, present and absent. People may wish it was over, yet be happy that their loved one is still around. In helping people recognize these feelings and by understanding the concept of ambiguous loss, we can help ease the effects. Several changes in thinking have been noted as being helpful by the Alzheimer's Society. First, the present doesn't override the past. There is no need to cancel Christmas because it's too busy. Those family traditions can continue, but may need to be revised. Number two, illness isn't the person. The person with dementia still has a story of a life lived. Remember the person that they were and the good times that were spent together. That person is still there, only now they have a different version of themselves. Number three, acknowledge grief and pain of loss. I have found that when facilitating groups on ambiguous loss and disenfranchised grief through the Alzheimer's Society, a lot of caregivers will remark that that's how they've been feeling but didn't have a name for it. I too had the same feeling when reflecting upon the losses we experienced as a family throughout the course of the disease with my grandfather. Number four, be open to a new type of relationship. We need to find new ways of relating, whether it's through photographs, music, or through physical touch or closeness. Number five, connect with others who can relate. There's a real benefit in connecting with others who have lived through or are living through the same experience. Loss and grief is one of the most significant issues caregivers face. The loss associated with dementia is ongoing, and the intensity of the feelings of grief and loss can ebb and flow over time and can surge with new life events or stages of the disease. Working through grief does not make the pain disappear, but it does make it more manageable and less frightening. Healing happens when people can acknowledge the losses and grieve them along the way. Thank you.